They're out there, somewhere. Players, willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Hey everybody, TacticAngel here. We're back on the PlayStation 4, playing some World of Warships Legends, feeling a little bit silly. It's about a week until we actually see the Germans make it to the live server, and here I am in seine Majestät Schiff G-101, the G-101. In any case, I'm playing with my buddy Savo. Savo and I had some fun this weekend. We actually went on quite a tear. And in this case, he's playing the HMS Orion. And I am obviously in this, the only German ship in the game at this point. So here we go, G-101. Hopefully you can get a... I'm not actually sure, hopefully you can get your hands on this. I do not want any more of these ships on the server because I am scared to death. Scared to death of this boat and anything that plays even remotely like it, because it's a lot of fun. You got forward launching torpedoes, and I'm going to be using those throughout this battle. And obviously my buddy Savo, he's back there in the Orion, you know, kind of a tugboat with giant guns. So I'm kind of leaving him behind a little bit here. Anyway, we're going to go up to A. One of your principal jobs as a destroyer is naturally to try to capture bases. And we're going to start the game off by trying to capture A. We are on New Dawn, so I don't actually think that the spawns on this are all that fair. Or at least they're not all that balanced, because I can get to A, I think, quite a bit easier than even the most favorable spawn on the west side can get to A. I don't know about C. I never seem to spawn around C, so maybe it's the opposite way down there. In any case, we're going to go ahead and take this base. We're going to start the point accumulation, and we managed to do it without taking a whole bunch of damage, which is kind of a big deal, kind of a good idea, because certainly as a destroyer, your value increases the longer the game goes on. And that's not something that is necessarily true for all ship classes. As a destroyer, you're quite a bit faster than most of the people who are going to be chasing you. And you have the ability to harass without being shot sometimes. That's actually one thing that the G-101 can do, so I can stealth launch these torpedoes. You see me lightly layering them there. I don't actually think I'm going to hit anything. I expect that ship is going to go ahead and try to round the corner of that island rather than sitting around waiting for somebody to actually hit them with some torps. So here we are, we're moving up. It looks like we've got New York up there. It's getting kind of close. We could probably launch some torpedoes. They're relatively cheap. And certainly at tier 3, there's not a whole lot of reason not to shoot at things. We are trying to be cognizant of the fact that we are leaving behind Savo and, you might say, most of my own team. So what we don't want to do is get in a big gunfight here. In fact, in the G-101, you pretty much don't want to get in a gunfight at all. You could probably outshoot some other tier 3 ships, but I wouldn't really recommend testing it out, because you're kind of a big destroyer and certainly very long, let's say that. So we managed to get some torpedoes in the water there. We're making some mistakes here because we're getting spotted here. We have an Iron Duke coming around, and I think he's got a buddy, actually. Another destroyer. There he is. And our rudder gets taken out. So we're going to fix that, because we don't want to continue doing that half moon around until I'm getting shot again. And instead, we've lost our spot, which is good. And at this point, the Clemson is paying attention to other people, so I'm going to go ahead and start shooting at it. Really, if you're in a G-101 and you start shooting, that's probably a pretty good sign of desperation. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to do that a lot in this game. Desperation. It's a good look. No, not really, but, you know, sometimes it works out. So anyway, we're putting shells down on that Clemson pretty well. He is slowing down, trying to smoke up. His engine is out. I'm not playing the lead all that well. As you see, I start putting some shells behind him. That's the difference between slowing down and not having an engine, because you can pretty well stop on a dime if you are trying to do so intentionally. But if you get your engine knocked out in a destroyer, you just kind of drift. And in this case, I'm looking at the score, and honestly, we're not doing all that well. I really need to go into C here, or C, what, B? I need to go into B here. I need to learn how to read, capture B, try to make sure nobody takes it. All three of those things by the end of this match. So, we are now in B. Looking over there at that Iron Duke, he's not looking at me, and I don't see anybody all that close to me, so I start using my guns because why not? If we can start a fire like that, you know, we help the team, whether it's the actual fire doing damage here, or if he repairs it, if it's the next fire. So, in any case, we have misjudged where everybody else is on the enemy team, and actually B, as it turns out, is the place to be, because looks like there's a whole bunch of enemy ships driving into this spot, and I'm going to need to do something about this. So we have a kamikaze over there, kamikaze, having the strange sense, I don't know how to describe it. It's the only ship I haven't reviewed, and I just didn't want to buy it. It's not a bad ship, but have to play it kind of passive, because it's going to get outshot. Like in these gun duels, I go ahead and take out its engine, charging up on it at this point, and here you see it's launched some torpedoes. I'm playing the sway of the back half of my ship, and I managed to dodge those torpedoes. I think he may have launched some others. There they are. He has 3 dual launchers, as I recall. I launch the port side torpedo launcher, and I launch the starboard side forward torpedo launcher. One of those is playing more of the deceleration than the other, but it looks like they were pretty good choices here, because I managed to connect with both just in time to realize that I'm basically on top of an enemy cruiser. So the Furitaka is right behind me. I'm going to go ahead and get my torpedoes in the water. These are the 2 amidships. They're both double launchers, and I take him out. I am hurting, though. I am hurting. And we're going to pop that smoke. Slow down and hope, really hope that nobody else wants a piece of TacticAngel. So one fun thing about this particular replay, these couple minutes are really the middle couple minutes that I wanted to show off here, at least in terms of my gameplay, because it was a lot of fun. In this case, what we're doing is kind of sacrificing ourselves for the team. We need to make sure that we get this spot. I'm not probably going to be able to kill this other destroyer, so I'm going to get my torpedoes in the water so that I might take him with me after my death. And there you go. Really, we got 3 of those kills within, what, like a minute and a half? Now, Savo is going to do something else. Savo's out here. He's playing his part pretty well. I mean, obviously he hasn't taken too much damage yet, but part of that is just the getting in position part of the fun. If you are not confronted with something as a battleship, sometimes you spend a lot of time wandering through the wilderness. And here we see he is given a couple of different choices. Obviously, he's going to shoot at the low health New York because that's going to limit the amount of incoming damage to him. Some good gunnery there, and that New York is out of the picture. Now he's taking a hard to starboard, and the Orion runs away pretty well. In terms of a battleship, you have 3 turrets that face naturally towards the aft of your ship. And, you know, you can present a decent angle and not give yourself up. At this point, Savo's just trying not to run into an island. And after he does this, this is going to actually be kind of the smart man's play, where I kind of suicidally sacrificed my life for my team to get that middle area. Savo, we're going to speed this up a little bit, is doing the, you might say, not most dignified thing in the world, and that is he's running away. Sometimes winning this game is doing the smart thing, and in this case, we have more points than the enemy, and the enemy is not in a very good position to actually try to capture any other points. So really what you want to do is kind of run out the clock, and whether or not Savo actually would kill this guy, what's really more important is he's going to get to 1,000 points well before the enemy team does, and probably before the enemy is able to kill him. But in this case, time is going to run out well before that enemy ship can possibly lay out enough damage to actually kill Savo. So in spite of being probably infuriating to actually play against, Savo's doing the right thing here. He's presenting a very slim profile to the enemy battleship, and of course you can see most of the shells are falling right or left of his ship, and he's in a pretty good position to, you know, continue to survive throughout this game. He's shooting high explosive back, and honestly, he's winning the damage total here. Here we go flying out into the overhead cam. I really love this, by the way. Something that World of Tanks should have done like 2 or 3 years ago. But as you see, we're counting down the seconds. Had a good time with this one. Obviously, Savo and I have a good time pretty regularly when he's around. And this is a good demonstration of 2 things, 2 players playing for the team, trying to win no matter what it takes. Here we go to the end. Obviously, we get the victory. There I am at the top. Savo's right there. In the midst, a tragedy that the score tracker can't exactly track his contribution. But what are you going to do? Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.